Hi there, my name is Sherri Simpson. I'm a transformational life coach, and today I want to share a presentation about how you can possibly heal your body naturally. I have done this for myself and I teach clients how to do this, and so I wanted to see if I could share some information with you to give you a little bit more wisdom in that area. So I'm going to share my screen here and take you through the presentation. So I totally believe that you can heal your body naturally. And if you are open to that possibility, then I want you to step into a greater possibility that you already have the skills to heal yourself. You just haven't been activating them. So who is this presentation for? If you're struggling to release any weight, if you have chronic pain, if you are trying to overcome an autoimmune disease or disorder or some kind of condition, if you're on medication and it just hasn't worked, or if your doctors or your medical practitioners have helped you to get into a place where you're sort of steady, but they haven't fixed the root cause. And so maybe you've tried countless things, maybe you've been to many different practitioners, and this is just sort of the last straw for you about what you are willing to put up with in terms of your pain and your suffering through your daily life. So I am well versed in this information. I'll share that with you in a minute. This training is not for you if you're totally happy where you are. It is for you if you're ready, willing, able to create a change in your health, because the change starts with you. So what I'm hoping to instill today within you is some information about how the medical perspective might not be working for you because they don't necessarily get to root cause. Some doctors are really good these days and they have a tendency to do that, and some do not. How the health and well-being is yours and that you can actually approach it in a brand new way. Different aspects that may be blocking you from your total well-being, and some tips and tricks about how to move forward and where to find guidance around these areas or issues. So who am I? My name is Sherri Simpson. I was working as a web developer at a university for a long time, and I was doing a lot of work that was repetitive and stressful. I was sitting at a desk all day, and I was the word that's coming to me is subservient. I was very eager to please other people, and what I created with that tendency to overplease others was a thyroid condition. So I ended up having a diagnosis of an autoimmune disorder that was called Graves' disease of the throat. I had horrible chronic headaches. I had neck pain, shoulder pain, jaw pain, digestive crazy issues, chronic fatigue, muscle spasms, candida, leaky gut. And the endocrinologist put me on medication. He took my crazy insomnia, overactive thyroid to be so blah that I sort of wanted to lie on the couch and I didn't really care if the house got set on fire. I was just so low, and I knew that I did not want to be in that situation where I was playing with medication to balance a thyroid. I was like, no, this is so not happening. So what I ended up doing was healing myself, and I healed all of these conditions. And now when I'm hiking or when I'm up and about or when I'm experiencing any pain or signs or symptoms in my body that just come to me, I instantly ask myself some questions and connect into my intuition about whose is this? Where did it come from? Can I release this? So that's part of what I'm going to teach you today, is to tap into your own body, to tap into your own information, your own intuition, so that you can understand the messages that your body is trying to share so that you can heal them. Your body is brilliant. It creates pain because it's trying to make you aware of something, but pain isn't supposed to be something that you're struggling with or suffering through on a regular basis. So what is the big problem? The big problem is that most of us only look at health as a physical condition, and we don't realize that we're actually suffering through it, and there are more choices. So my perspective is that we have 4 different bodies: the physical body, the mental body where our thoughts are, our feelings or our emotional body, and our spiritual body, which is our connection to our higher self. So when you start to look at the body as being 4 different bodies, then you have a totally different perspective about what is going on with you and how you might be able to heal you. So one thing that you need to know is that I believe in realities. And if that's the case, then if you're in pain right now, you've created the experience of pain. Just like myself, I created the experience of having an autoimmune condition. And I also created the experience of healing it. So if you feel that you are capable of creating something, capable of an autoimmune disease or disorder, is your body fighting itself. So if your body is capable of fighting itself, then it's also capable of healing itself. So I want to teach you how you can heal your body naturally by being your own private investigator and actually getting to the root cause of your pain. So, do pain and disease actually feel safer for you than health and wellness? For some people, it's true. For some people, there's a safety in being overweight because then people won't see them. There's a safety for people in being sick because then there are things that they don't want to do or that they're afraid of doing and they won't have to do them. So it's almost like there's an excuse in some of us, or a self-sabotage in some of us, or just really deep-seated fear of things. So I want to ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, how well do you feel? And then ask yourself, how well are you capable of feeling? I also want to know, how much longer do you want to actually stay in your current state of pain and suffering? If I tell you that you're capable of healing and that you're capable of feeling really good and not having any pain every day, then is that something that you'd be interested in, or is that something that you're like, I don't believe it? I want you to ask what you're gaining by actually staying in your state of pain and suffering, and if you really do truly want health, wellness, and well-being. So the first shift I want to tell you about is that you have the power over your physical experience, and that is 25% of what is going on with your health right now. And that's 25% because we have 4 different bodies. So this is one body that we're going to look at. So can you use your own power to control your food? You get to decide what you put in your mouth. You get to decide what you're eating, what you're drinking, if you're eating, if you're drinking, how much water, how much food, what kind of food. So is it serving your goal of losing weight or releasing pain or getting rid of an autoimmune condition to eat the way that you're eating or to drink the way that you're drinking? And is it for your highest good to maintain that? So food is definitely something that you have the power to control. The second thing you have the power to control physically is your sleep. Many people do not get enough sleep. So you get to decide if you're staying up late, if you're waking up early. Not necessarily waking up early, I understand, if you have kids, if you have dogs, if you have jobs where you're called to get up really early, but you could go to bed earlier, or you could set up your schedule so possibly you could take a quick cat nap in the afternoon, or find a way so that you're getting more sleep. You also have the power to decide when and if your sleep is interrupted. So I know people who allow their cats and dogs to wake them up several times in the night to be able to take them out, or because they're wanting to play or whatever. You're actually choosing that situation. You have the power to train your pet or your kids to be able to function in a different way so that you can allow more sleep. Number 3 is you control your movement. You get to control what happens to your body, whether you're deciding to move it, whether you're deciding to work out, hike in nature, to do some yoga, to do some swimming. You get to decide what your body does and how much your body does. And it shouldn't be a should for you about moving your body. You really want to tap into, how do I love to move my body? You've decided to come into this place as a soul to experience physical things. So are you allowing yourself to experience everything that your body wants to enjoy? Are you dancing in the kitchen? Are you stretching a couple times a week? What are you doing physically that would be fun and exciting that allows you to move your own body? The next step is you get to control your environment. So you get to control who you spend your time with. Not necessarily at work, but outside of work, you get to control who you spend your time with. You get to control how and where you spend your time outside of work and what you're doing with that time. So you can actually control the environment that you're around. For me, when I was working 9-to-5 jobs, different ones, there were often drama or gossip conversations that were going on in lunchrooms. And I would often want to just take my lunch and go outside and control my own environment because I didn't want to be in the presence of drama or gossip. So that's something that you have the power over. You just have to think a little bit creatively in order to be able to get yourself into an environment that feels better for you. The second thing that you have control over, the second shift that you can make, is that you have the power over your thoughts and your mental mind, and your thoughts continue to create your beliefs, which means you have the power to change your beliefs by changing your thoughts. So if you're changing your mind, that means that you need to make a change. So the definition of insanity is continuing to do the same thing over and over again and expecting something to change. One thing I notice with people, with some of my clients, is that we have a tendency to lay down the law and to say, this is going to change. But if that's the case, nothing ends up changing because you actually haven't changed on the inside, and you haven't changed how you're presenting yourself and how you're thinking and what you're believing. So you really need to cultivate that change in your mind, in your thoughts and your beliefs yourself. And then what happens is your external environment changes with you or for you because you've already done the changes on the inside. So you want to decide to change your mind. You want to decide to be healthy. You want to decide to move into a place of greater wellness. So if you're ready to change, you want to kind of have a plan about how you're going to do it. So one of the steps I have for you is, it's not yours. And what I mean by that is, it is not a healthy practice for you to say, my headaches, my autoimmune condition, my back pain, my neck pain. What happens when you do that is it's like you take it on as your own. You take it on as though you own it, like it's a part of you. It's a label that you must carry, and it's as though you don't want to put it down then. And if that's the case, then you'll keep it because it feels like it's yours. So change your words. The second thing that you can do is pay attention. So you can pay attention to when things automatically don't feel so good in your body. If you get up in the morning, I always tell people that at night before you go to bed, you have the option of putting down the things that you're carrying. And one of the visualizations you can use is having this chest that opens up right beside your bed. And you put all of this stuff into this chest that you're no longer willing or able to carry, whether they're yours or whether they're from your ancestors or this life or past life. It doesn't matter. You just put it all down. And then what you do is ask your guide team and your angels and your loved ones, whoever you speak to heal and release those things. And then when you get up in the morning, you have free will. You get to choose whether you're going to pick up that stuff and take it with you, or whether you're just going to leave it. So as soon as you get into a place where you're feeling something, so even before you get out of bed, if you get up and you're like, oh, my back hurts, then I want you instantly to tap into, is this mine? And I know that seems like a really weird and bizarre question, but one of the things that I teach my clients is that a lot of times we pick up energy which isn't ours. It's the same as picking up a pen. It's just available to us. We just pick it up on a mental, emotional, or spiritual level, rather than actually picking it up. So I'm going to teach you now how you actually tap into getting information from your highest self. If you ask your body for information, oftentimes it will respond with your subconscious. Your subconscious was created between the ages of 2 and 7, which means that when you ask your subconscious questions, your 7-year-old will answer. Sometimes that's amazing because you want to know what's in your subconscious and how to heal it. But oftentimes you want to get a higher perspective, like an owl, eagle view perspective. So what you want to do is get into a relaxed state, relaxing your shoulders, closing your eyes, and this works best when you're standing, though I'm seated at the moment. And you want to say, higher self, please come to me now. I'm asking you to provide some answers for me. Please show me a yes response. And I'm feeling a ting at the moment when I answer that, and I feel my body slightly starting to lean forward. That is a normal response for people with a yes, because a yes usually means, yes, I'm going to move forward. That is good. I'm going to move into this. And when you ask your body for no response, so you say thank you to your higher self, and then you say to yourself, please show me a no response. And automatically I'm just slightly, my body, I can just feel it sort of trying to tip backwards. And that is a typical no response, because you're like, no way. So that is one way that you can get a response from your body. Sometimes when I ask people to do this, they get a yes response from one hand, often the right, and a no response from the left. Often people also feel a yes response as like overwhelming joy or like lightness, and they feel a no as like a heaviness and a blah feeling. But you want to tap into, what does a yes feel like and what does a no feel like? After you know that, what you want to do is start asking a couple of questions that you know are yes or no, so that you feel the sensation in your body. The other thing that you can do is tap into your higher self and say, can you make this louder for me? And it will amplify the experience so that you know, yes, my hair is brown. No, I don't drive a purple Jeep. So you can ask some questions that way. And then once you start getting more confident in your yes and no's, you build a relationship with your higher self and with your body. And then you can start asking yourself all kinds of questions. So one of the questions I always ask is this mine? And it might be pain, it might be emotion, it might be some sensation in my body. But if it's not yours, you want to learn how to put it down. If it is yours, then there are certain questions that you can ask. Is it from this life? Is it from a past life? Is it from my ancestry? Once you have that information, you can say, do I need to know more? And if you get a no, then you can just ask your body to release it. And I take my clients through how to do that. If the pain that you're carrying is serving you, so that's another question that you can ask. For some people, it is serving them to carry someone else's pain. Then you also might want to ask, is it serving the highest and greatest good of all? And often it may serve you to carry whatever it is that you're carrying for someone else, but it doesn't serve them, because it's as though you're taking the experience of healing away from them and trying to heal it on your own. So those are all cool questions that you can ask for answers from yes, no, from your body. The other thing that often comes up is that sometimes your body doesn't move at all, or you get a wishy-washy yes, no, yes, no. If you get a response like that, what it often means is it's both or it's neither, which means you want to come up with different yes, no questions to ask. If you ask, is it mine, and you get sort of a wishy-washy, then you want to ask, is part of it mine and part of it belong to someone else? And so usually things are a little bit more complicated than just a yes, no answer. So sometimes we can have like something that's 30% our own, 25% is someone else's, and then the rest of it is coming from our ancestry. And so things are sort of weaved like a web, a little bit more complicated than just a simple yes and no. So you want to ask those questions. And so if you're getting weird answers, then that's likely why. The next thing you want to do is literally cultivate a new relationship with yourself. So it's very interesting, because a lot of times we know our friends and we know our family and we know our partners and our neighbors and we know our bosses and our pets and our bosses' pets better than we know ourselves. And if that's the case, then does that serve you? And if you know exactly what everyone else needs and what everyone else wants and how to create it for them, but when you actually turn that reflection back to yourself, you often come up with, but I don't know what I want. And so sometimes you actually have to almost observe yourself from the perspective of you being a friend, or you being a family member, or you being your daughter. And when you get into that place in your head, you can start asking yourself questions about, what do I want? What do I need? What do I need to do, to have, to ask for in order to create this new relationship with myself? The hair on my arms is standing up like crazy at the moment. So apparently somebody needed to know that. When I get that response, it's a truth response for me. So truth it is. So you want to cultivate a new relationship with yourself. The next thing you want to do is stop beating yourself up. Many people, and I used to be just horrible at this. Actually, I was really good at it. I had a mean soccer coach on my shoulder that would always be like, no, you suck at this. No, you can't do that. No, you have to work harder. No, that's not for you. No, you can't have that. You have to work twice as hard as everyone else. And I got to a point where I was just like, I had like a screw you conversation. And now every time that mean soccer coach comes back to my shoulder, I literally like flick it and be like, no, I don't think so. And I call in the cheerleader on my other shoulder. And the cheerleader is now the one who is most prominent for me. It's the louder voice. And when the mean soccer coach comes up, I start asking questions. Is it serving me? Did I pick up something from someone else? Is there something I can heal and release right now? So you really want to get into a habit, like a routine, habitually flicking the mean soccer coach off your shoulder and allowing the cheerleader to support you. So deleting any thoughts that don't serve you. And what that does is the universe loves a void. So when you release something, just like when you release things from your house and you actually are getting rid of things. So maybe you've been hoarding a bunch of clothes and now you're doing a spring cleaning and you're getting rid of a bunch of stuff. As you're getting rid of it, what you want to do is set the intention for what you're going to call in. So if you've gotten rid of, 40 items, perhaps you want to call in 10 items of a different caliber, a different type of clothing, a different type of boot, or whatever it is. You want to actually set the intention to call those things in. Otherwise, the universe will bring you things that match what it was that you got rid of because you haven't set the intention to fill that space with something that serves you even better. Ooh, up to number 3. So number 3, 25% comes from our emotional body, and what we really need to do is change our feelings. Changing feelings can be sort of a icky thing because a lot of us have actually learned to stuff our feelings. So let's talk about the universe a little bit. I see the universe as being a puppy. Your puppy, your universe is here to serve you based on what you're vibrating out. And in a human way, your vibration is what you're feeling in terms of your emotions. So if you're feeling fear, then your puppy is bringing you a whole bunch of socks that match fear. So it will bring you more things for you to be afraid of. If you're matching anger or irritation or frustration, then your puppy is going to bring you socks, experiences, people, situations that match your irritation, your frustration, your annoyance, whatever it is. So your puppy doesn't understand hand commands, and it doesn't understand what words you're actually saying. So if you're saying to the universe, I need more money, then you're actually doing that in a way that feels like you don't have enough. And the universe feels, I don't have enough, and it will respond by bringing you situations where you feel you don't have enough. So you really want to tap into the emotions. And the first step I want to share with you in this is that you are not everyone else. So we have a tendency to want to go to other people and say, what would you do? How would this make you feel? What do I do in this situation? And those people, they have fantastic opinions, but they're going to share with you what they feel, not necessarily, or even what they think you feel, but you're the one who knows your feelings. So the interesting thing about this is if you were trying to manifest losing 20 pounds. And I don't like to use the word lose because I feel like you lose keys. So if you lose keys, it's something that you actually want to get back. And usually if you're losing 20 pounds, you don't want to bring it back. So I like to use the word release. So let's say your aim is to release 20 pounds. What you want to do is tap into, how will I feel after releasing 20 pounds? If you feel that releasing 20 pounds will make you feel beautiful and successful and vibrant, then if you ask your friends what releasing 20 pounds might make them feel like, it might be freedom, it might be love. And so it's challenging for us to ask other people about what would you do to lose weight or to release weight, because their idea of the emotion is different than your emotion, which means that the things that they're doing to release the weight is actually going to be different than the things that you want to do or need to do in order to release your own weight. So you don't want to assume that what works for other people will work for you. And you don't want to assume what didn't work for other people will also not work for you, because you're not them. So how do you pay attention to how you're feeling? Because if the universe is bringing you what you're feeling in return as socks, then you want to tap into your emotional body. Many of us are like little bobbly heads and we're in our head all the time. And if you have headaches or if you have tension in your neck, then you're likely disconnecting your head from your heart. So you really want to tap into feeling. And how do you do that? You want to go to places or be in places and just check in with yourself. What am I feeling right now? So you want to check in when I'm in large crowds. How do I feel? Does it fill me up or does it empty me? When I'm alone, how do I feel? When I'm spending time in nature, or I just heard petting zoo for some reason, when you're eating bread, when you're eating cheese or dairy, when you're having tomatoes, how does that make you feel? How does it make you feel while you're eating it? And how does it make you feel 20 minutes after your body has gotten into the process of digestion? How do you feel when you're drinking alcohol or coffee or soda versus water? How do you feel on 5 hours of sleep versus 7? You really want to tap into those things, idea of what you're resonating out to the universe. Because if you're resonating, I hate being in crowds, but I'm in crowds all the time, then it's as though the universe is like, okay, let's bring you more hating crowds and let's bring you more opportunities to be in crowds, because that seems to be what you're asking for. The universe doesn't judge, and the universe doesn't understand how to read between the lines. The universe says, oh, you're asking to be in a crowd. Okay, and I'll bring you that. So you really want to tap into paying attention to how you feel. The other thing you want to do is cultivate a new relationship with you in terms of your feelings. One thing that confuses us, because many of us are empaths, and as an empath, it means that you can actually feel what other people are feeling. So if you walk into a funeral home, then you can feel all of the feelings of everyone in there. When you walk into a concert, you're probably like, whoa, like vibrating if you have empathic abilities, because you feel all the energy. So you really want to tap into which ones are my feelings and which ones are other people's. This is making the hair on my arm stand up again. It's relevant for somebody. So you want to tap into asking what emotions are actually yours. And in order to do that, you really want to cultivate a new relationship with yourself. So that means getting into a hot bath and enjoying some quiet time, walking in nature, appreciating your surroundings and allowing yourself to be in the moment. Write a love letter to yourself so that you can actually share with yourself what you love and adore about you. Meditate. I know meditation is a challenging one for many of us. So what you want to do when you're meditating is, first you want to start with just sitting still and not moving your body. Once you can sit still and not move your body, then you want to start focusing on bringing your thoughts into one thing. So maybe it's hearing the air conditioner, maybe it's you looking at a candle flickering, maybe it's you chanting a mantra or an affirmation in your mind. And then after that, when you've hit that stage and you can keep your body still and your mind is more comfortable focusing on just one thing rather than letting all the thoughts swirl around you, then you want to tap into relaxing your body while you're in that state. Because a lot of times when we're trying to keep our body still and when we're trying to focus on one thing, it feels like really challenging and really hard, and we're like, oh my God. So you actually want to then focus on relaxing and releasing your body. The other thing that you can do is to cultivate a new relationship with yourself. Take yourself on a date or cook yourself dinner and set up candles at the table. Do whatever you can in order to cultivate feelings within yourself of the feelings that you want to feel. Do you want to feel healthier? Do you want to feel more joyful, more happy, more blissful, more peaceful? Whatever it is, cultivate those in your own relationship with yourself. Oh, this is such a good one. This is a really big one. When I was healing my own thyroid condition, I had a tendency to say yes to everyone. And what that does is it puts you into feeling obligated and also feeling guilty when you don't do stuff. So if someone's saying, hey, let's go do this, and you're like, okay, if it's a yes for them, but if it's a no for you, it should be a no for you. So you want to do things for you that feel like a yes. So a lot of times we get stuck into doing things that feel like shoulds, that feel like have tos, things that we're guilted into, things we feel obligated or that we must do. Those things are not helping your health. They're not helping your emotional body, your mental body, your physical body, or your spiritual body. So you want to tap into how can you reevaluate those things in your life that you're currently doing that are a no for you, and see how you can change them. And I know sometimes we have obligations to family, to friends, to our jobs where we can't actually change them. But if that's the case, see if you can change your perspective about it, or try and make it more fun, or try and make it more fulfilling. Just see if you can put another twist on it so that it feels more like a yes for you. That was a definite hit for somebody as well. So we're at number 4. The fourth one here is meeting your spirit team. For some of you, that may seem like it's a piece of cake. And for some of you, you're probably like, I have no idea who my spirit team is. Do I have a spirit team? You do. Everyone has a spirit team. Some people have an angelic team, and some people have a team that refer to themselves as guides. You have an inner circle of guides that are with you pretty much all the time. And usually you have one guide that comes to you at birth, and then you have another guide that maybe comes in around age 3, as soon as you start doing all of the things yourself. Another one that comes in maybe around age 6. Another one that usually comes in maybe around age 10. And then some people only have 4, and sometimes myself, I end up having 7. So sometimes you call them in at later ages. You also have a tendency to call in guides that in my work, they're called negative guides, but they're not actually negative. What you do is call them in when certain experiences are challenging you in your life, and like there's some kind of a trauma, and you called a certain guide in to help you through that trauma. In my own work in the Akashic Records, I actually help people to release those guides, because usually they're there just for certain circumstances, and then when the trauma is over or healed, you no longer need them. So you want to be able to create a connection with your spirit team. Your outer circle of guides, there's usually 7 of them, and they have their own specific duties, and they help more than one person, but usually your spirit guide team is just there to help you. The rules are not all perfect, and so some people do have angels, and some have guides, and some have different numbers, but generally this is the way that your team looks. Some people have archangels on their teams. Some people have teachers or ascended masters. I learned recently that Mother Mary joined my team. I was totally, completely humbled about that. Some people have passed over loved ones on their team. I actually have my grandfather on my father's side as one of my spirit team as well. And some people do have archangels, like Archangel Michael. So what you want to do is actually start talking to them. Literally, when I go to bed at night, I thank my spirit guides, my teachers, my angels, my ascended masters, my loved ones for all the help they provided. I ask them to keep me safe. When I'm driving anywhere, I ask them to put extra angels on the north, south, east, and west side of my vehicle. When I'm asleep or when I park somewhere and when I'm feeling uncomfortable, I ask them to call in angels around me or angels around the space that I'm in. So you can just call them in and ask them to help you. You don't want to micromanage them, because they have their own duties and their own jobs. When we're in these bodies, we have certain experiences and choices that we're desiring to make and create, and certain life path that we've sort of chosen. They also have a life path that they've chosen, but their life path that they've chosen is to help you on your path. And so they have other duties that they do as well as helping you. So start talking to them, ask them who they are. One of the techniques I like to use is getting yourself into a meditation where you're relaxed, you're balancing your chakras or your energy, you're feeling nice and cozy and calm and peaceful and in the moment. And what you actually do is you ask one of your guides to step forward. And then you think about your energy expanding outside of your body. And what you ask is that your guide's energy also expands, and that you blend your energy with theirs. And when you blend your energy with theirs, it's as though it's easier to have a conversation with them because they feel so close to you. And then you might be able to experience things in your body. You might feel a warmth. When I call in Archangel Michael, my hands warm up. When I call in my main spirit guide, whose name is John, I feel like a lightness, or like it feels like Christmas. It feels like Santa Claus. He feels like Santa Claus to me. So you can call in a guide and you can ask, what sensation allows me to know that you're with me? How are you helping me? And sometimes you won't get any messages, and sometimes you'll see this weird story in your head, or like a visualization, or you'll hear things. It depends on what your gifts are and where your gifts of intuition or your psychic abilities actually lie. But it's a cool technique in order to get into relying on your spirit guides and asking them for help. So the rule with spirit guides is that they can't help you unless you ask, because you have free will. And you can't ask them, what should I do? Because they're like, I don't know, what should you do? Because you actually have free will. They're not here to tell you, you should do this and you have to do that and you need to do this. That's not what they're here for. They're here to guide you based on things that are for your highest and greatest good that will serve you in this life. So make sure you're asking them questions based on, is this for my highest and greatest good? Will this serve me? Will this serve me? When you're leaving your blend with your spirit guide, what you want to do is thank them, and then you want to ask them to step back and then see your energy coming back into yourself so that you're not connecting to them on an ongoing basis. Then you can call them in and connect whenever you need to. The next thing we want to talk about is a little bit about what I talked to you earlier about learning more about your team. So you usually have 4 to 7 guides in your inner team. And I did just go through this with you, that you can actually ask for your guides to blend with you in a visualization. You can ask them for their names. If you can get yes or no responses in your head and you're not getting a name that flows through, then what I do is go through the alphabet and say, first I usually ask, do you resonate as being a male? Do you resonate as being a female? And then you can ask, and some of them resonate as being androgynous, which usually means they've been male and female so many times they don't resonate as being either anymore. So you can ask about their names. You can ask, does your name, or the name that I can call you, does it start with an A? Does it start with a B? Does it start with a C? And you just go through the alphabet. And oftentimes you'll get a name, and then for me, if I get a letter like a V, I'll be like, oh, it's Victor. And then I'll ask, is it Victor? And I'll get a yes or a no. So you want to ask for things like that. You want to pay attention to, will I recognize you as a symbol? So my grandfather, who is my loved one, passed over on my father's side. I know that he brings me rainbows. So every time I see a rainbow or something that's reflecting as a rainbow, sometimes my car ends up shining a certain way and I see rainbow reflections like on the rims of the tires, or I'll see actual rainbows, or I'll see Christmas tree lights in rainbow colors. I know that that's him. And so you can ask for, a bird or a symbol or a sign or a color or a feeling, and you can get more connected with your spirit team that way. Calling upon the archangels. One of the archangels I love to call upon, and I do it almost daily, is Archangel Michael. And the cool thing about archangels is that they can be everywhere all at once. They're not like regular spirit guides where they can only be in one place at once. So that means you want to connect with a guide and then thank them and allow them to go. Archangel Michael has this, all the archangels have this cool power that they can be all over. So Archangel Michael, I call him in literally by saying, Archangel Michael, come to me now. And I ask him to cut the cords on my chakras on the fronts and the back and lovingly reconnect them to source. And what that does is, if you're allowing other people to take energy from you rather than taking it from source, or if you're getting energy from other people, then you can ask those to be cut and reconnected to source. You can also ask Archangel Jeremiah in order to overcome difficulties. You can call Archangel Ariel for courage. You can call Archangel Zadkiel for more compassion about you and your health. So one thing I mentioned earlier is that you don't want to micromanage your spirit team. And the interesting thing about your spirit team is that they're always trying to give you wisdom and guidance that you will understand, because they see you from above better than you see you often. And what happens then is that you need to be open to seeing, to hearing, to understanding the synchronicities that are coming to you. Sometimes it's about a song that gets stuck in your head and you can hear it, but you're not really paying attention to the words. And sometimes you hear conversations going around you. And sometimes you see it in advertising, or you get an email message or something like that. So you want to pay attention to how these synchronicities are coming to you. So what do you have to change in order to be healthy? We've gone through quite a few things. You want to change your words and how you're speaking. You want to change your thoughts and how your thoughts are repeating and creating beliefs. Are they nurturing or are they not? Your beliefs that you create, they're steadfast rules. So once you have a belief, it's challenging to reprogram it, because you create the world around you based on your beliefs. Your boundaries are important. The things that you say yes to are important. Your actions and what you do is what creates your physical reality. Who you spend time with, are they inspiring you? How do you spend your time? Does it fulfill you? So let's recap. We went through the physical body, the mental body, the emotional body, and the spiritual body. And all 4 of those bodies, you actually have the power and the control over in order to help you create a better healing and well-being person that you are in this lifetime. So how can I help you? I help people to receive yes and no messages from their higher self. I also share with people what your body is trying to tell you. So often if you have pain and signs and symptoms in the body, I have found that about 90% of people actually experience the same pain in the same location. So most people who are experiencing guilt experience guilt in the right shoulder. Many people who are having trouble moving forward in life or fear in moving forward, they actually experience that in their knees. So I guide you into, the dog is whining in the background. Sorry about that. I guide you into what you want and what you don't want and steps that you can take in order to get there. And I guide you in your own intuition and tapping into your own guidance and expanding yourself spiritually so that you can ascend in your spiritual process. So many people do this alone, and that's awesome. If you do find a mentor, your mentor wants to be or you want your mentor to be, or it's helpful if your mentor is someone who has been there before, someone you trust, someone who you want to learn from. And you can have multiple mentors. I've had 4 or 5 mentors all at one time. What a mentor can do for you is keep you accountable. They can be your cheerleader. They can give you new suggestions and ideas that you may not have thought of on your own. You can also count on a mentor to kick you out of your comfort zone and allow you to move forward. So today I wanted to share with you about your 4 bodies, about how to set boundaries with your yes or no, about how you have the power to make different changes and choices, about how important you need to make yourself and cultivate the relationship with you, and cultivating a better relationship with your higher self and your spirit team. So today you have a choice. You can choose to keep going in the state of pain or suffering that you're in, or you can choose to do something different. So I want to instill in you the ability that you can change your own life any way or any time that you choose, that you can heal yourself. If I was able to do it, then you're able to do it too, because there's no difference between us. I am connected to you and you are connected to me, and we're all connected to source. You have the power to do this. So you can go at the traditional way. If that hasn't been working, then open up to the new possibility of tapping into your intuition, of hearing the yes, no answers from your higher self and connecting into your spirit team. So what I have for you today is a free PDF. It's a PDF that explains some of the areas of the body and what those messages are all about. And I'm also explaining, I have a free call for you. If you want to tap into more questions about your body and how I might be able to help you as your mentor, then I would love for you to book a free call with me. So you can grab your PDF gift at the URL here. It's your-life-transformation.com/my-free-gifts. And so that is going to bring you to a page where you can download a PDF. It is going to ask for your email address, and that is just so that I know how many people actually were interested in the free gift. And then you can also book a call with me. What this does is bring you to my calendar, and it will allow you to pick the time zone and see what times I have available over the next probably about 2 weeks. So thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate that you're interested in this webinar, that you're interested in healing yourself in a new way, and I look forward to helping you in the future in any way that I can. So namaste. I'm just going to stop the screen share here. So I look forward to connecting with you. I hope that this has helped you in some way, shape, or form, and I look forward to connecting with you soon. Namaste.